welcome to the Pitch of Discontent. Owen back again for another guest episode. Joining me in the studio is Mr. Gloom himself. Sir Mikey Arthur is in the house. Hello, sir.
Hello.
What's going on?
Work, album. That's about it.
Yes.
That's all I have time for now.
We had a bunch of off-mic chit-chat about work, about the album, various pieces that we will get into for the show. But it's been a pretty busy time for you getting things ready for this album release. Are you anxious, nervous, excited? Do you just want to get it the fuck out?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I bet. Sure. Yeah, like it's been a long time since we've released something, especially something like this big. And as I'm sure all the band people know who watch this, leading up to a release, it can be extremely stressful.
Yeah. And this one was recorded, which we will get into, in 2024. So you've got, I'm guessing, like 18 months of kind of like committed material that you're now like, how do I package it? How do I create things that get people psyched on the record? How do I put those out? How do I get the record out? Like, big process.
Yeah, I think like what kind of helped though was I did all of my stuff initially first, and we'll get into this properly, and then the boys kind of took their time just because life gets in the way.
Yes.
So we didn't actually have everything wrapped until about May or June of 2024.
Yeah, wow.
And then everything took its time being mixed and mastered just because I was doing Zoom calls with John, our producer, and I reckon we got the finals back for the record in September of 2025.
Yeah, wow.
So
okay.
I've been done since October last year. But yeah, so I mean, the good side of that is it's given me proper time to kind of plan everything and like do everything on the back end. But now it's like putting everything into motion as now it's going like, oh, fuck.
Well, this is like the deadline,
the deadline,
the finish line, right? You're in the
line.
final sprint.
Aversion's your forte. You want me dead and that's okay, 'cause I'm a far cry from your eyes. Just know I feel the same about you. Drag bodies round behind me where I go. They don't bother me now, bother me now. And I know I will never ever cleanse my soul.
Before we get into all of that, I guess, can we do a quick introduction?
Yep.
Can you tell us who you are, what you do?
I'm Mikey. I'm the vocalist of the Gloom in the Corner. I write the big overarching story that's in there, and I write a lot of the music for it too.
Yeah.
Would it be? I'm the big brain, I guess.
I was about to say, would creative mastermind be a title that you're happy with?
It's a little bit egregious, but yes, we'll go with that.
We like being egregious. We like being a little bit sycophantic here. It's okay. I have a couple of points to hit at the top before we get into the formal notes. Follow you on socials, and I was talking to you earlier today because you shared some devastating news.
I know.
The passing of McSteamy. Eric Dane. RIP.
Yeah.
Salute.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I know him from Euphoria and another
That's
show.
right.
Yeah,
Nate's dad.
yeah,
in
Cal
Euphoria.
Jacobs. Yeah, and he's excellent in that.
He hangs dong.
He hangs dong.
He hangs dong.
He hangs dong.
In the
He knew
pilot.
he had one shot to hang dong.
In the pilot.
I know, it's crazy.
Fuck.
But he's also in another show that me and my partner were watching with Jensen Ackles called Countdown, which is kind of like a 24-y kind of like.
I have seen ads for this.
Like, not I don't want to say Hulu, but like that kind of weekly episodic release thing that you would find in like mid to late 2000s TV at like 9 o'clock at night. That's very much kind of the vibe.
Isn't it kind of crazy that like you and I are old enough to kind of like remember that, where like you would be scrolling through, not even scrolling, there's a fucking there's an aphorism, but no,
channel
like,
changing.
You would be flicking through the channels on the remote control, and you would just find like a dog shit procedural sitcom, whatever kind of show that they put in like the dead air late night slot at 10 o'clock at night, and you'd be like, well, this is kind of trash, but I'll watch it anyway.
And hey, a lot of them are really good too.
Yeah, I euphemistically call it hotel TV.
Yes, actually, that's a great way of putting it.
Because every time we travel, I am always very firm on page. I'm like, we have to watch some hotel TV. Because we don't have free to air upstairs. We exclusively just watch streaming, which I'm sure most people our age do. So, like, I have no idea what's going on the boomer channels, on what they're watching.
Boomer channels.
Like, what?
Good. I like that.
Like, Seven Mate, who is she? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So, whatever they're rocking on free to air on hotel TV, I'm excited to see, like, what trash is on there.
The show that he was in that we know him for, well, besides Euphoria, that we know him for, was very much like down that line. It was an episodic kind of weekly release Amazon Prime show.
Okay.
And he played like this police captain in that, or head of the squad kind of thing.
Sure.
And he's very, very good in that too. Or was very good.
He's a great actor.
Yeah.
So like he doesn't have to be slumming it, but I appreciate that he did nonetheless. Like I think all of the greatest talents understand that they can just turn a paycheck and slum their way through a shitty TV show.
Yeah.
And I respect that choice. Speaking of multimedia, I also have another thing that I would like to bring up.
Oh, no.
I'm going to commit the cardinal sin of podcasting by reading off my phone. But I follow you on Letterboxd. And I...
Fuck.
And I
wondered what that Letterboxd thing was.
And
it's like, huh?
Yeah.
What are we getting into?
Don't let it be said that I don't do my research, okay? I like to know what's going on. So I have some selections from your Letterboxd entries. Which
I'd like to preface this too with there is a good chance I was pretty drunk when I wrote some these.
I wish the timestamps, like the watched stamps, came with like an actual
then
time.
I'd be able to tell you, yep, I was shit faced.
Because if you're doing like a 2:24 a.m. review, like he's drunk.
He's gone.
So this is Stranger Things 5, the finale.
Oh,
which is not a movie, but was shot like a movie and is long enough to be a fucking movie. You have, here, I'll do it. Every single character in the Gloom lore would have goddamn dog-walked Vecna in this finale. It's actually hysterical. I'll also note, all one sentence, no punctuation.
Yep. I was pretty drunk at that point, too.
Do you stand by that claim?
100%.
I'm not terribly familiar with the Gloom lore. This is the context of the podcast. But I thought the finale was dog shit. So
yeah, same.
I think you could probably come up with better character motivations in your sleep.
Imagine wrapping up nothing. Like crazy.
It was a terrible, terrible finale. And it looked like dog shit. How do you spend that much money and just have it look like a PlayStation 1 cutscene?
It was so interesting watching the behind the scenes documentary that they released afterwards that everybody thought was going to be like the
secret
finale.
ending. That was crazy too.
Yeah, because you could see just how they...
The Zoomers are going crazy with all their conspiracy theories.
Oh, what was it? What do they call it? Not continuity gates, something like that.
That's great.
Twitter's a great place for that kind of dog shit. But it's crazy that like everybody got on board with that and was like, no, this can't be the finale. And then watching that documentary, I'm like, I see how it became that, which is such a shame because, like, I feel like the set designers and everybody else that was around the Duffer Brothers did their job correctly.
Of course.
And they did a phenomenal fucking job.
Yeah.
Where it got let down was, like, the writing and stuff. But,
It's
yes, I stand by my statement that every Gloom character could fucking dog walk that cunt. Like... Sorry, I shouldn't swear too much.
I mean, like, no, this is a podcast, my friend. You can definitely swear.
Okay, sweet.
But, like, how does he die in the end? He gets impaled and then fucking...
Joyce chops off her head.
Shoplifter, like, shoots him in the head.
Shoplifter.
People forget. She got done for shoplifting.
Yeah. Joyce chops off her head.
Joyce,
chops off his head with an axe, which...
Just not satisfying in any way.
Actually, no, I really enjoyed that scene until somebody pointed out the fact that Vecna and Will are meant to be a part of like this hive mind thing.
Yeah.
So any inflicted damage upon Vecna, which also happens previously throughout the show, should also affect Will. So
she killed her own son.
Pretty much. And then suddenly it's like it doesn't matter now. It's like
okay,
bro.
Okay. Just hand wavy bullshit.
Yep.
Okay, next review. The the War of the Worlds remake.
Yep.
Which was essentially an ad for Amazon.
Yep.
Starring Ice Cube.
Yep.
One of the actors I mentioned before, who's completely okay slumming it through dog shit for a paycheck. You just said cinema is back. 8 likes.
I'm pretty sure I gave it 5 stars too.
You did.
Yeah.
I didn't even do the star rating. So Stranger Things 5, the finale, 2 stars. War of the Worlds, 5
War
stars.
of the Worlds, 5 stars. Oh fuck. That one I actually wasn't drunk for. Yeah, I sat down and watched that movie with a bunch of mates. And
that seems like that would be the optimum kind of experience.
Have you seen it?
No, I have not.
Dude, it is dog shit. Like, it is hysterically dog shit.
So this is the rare kind of movie where I know it is so dog shit, I will only consume it through YouTube video essays that like hang shit on it. So I feel like I've seen it because I've watched enough content containing bits of the movie.
Yep.
But I have not actually sat down to watch.
You have to sit down
said movie.
Like, it is.
It's like a fucking Zoom call. I'm not gonna watch
call.
that.
No, it's. I will give it credit. It's incredible the way that they've done it. It is still the worst thing I've ever seen. So that one's very satirical. I'm being satirical.
I mean, it struck me as very genuine. But next one, Hate to Love, Nickelback.
Yep.
4 stars. This is in quotes. Just got wood.
He does. He says that in the documentary.
I wondered if that was a quote or if that was
talking about himself.
When you say him, are we talking Chad?
Yeah.
Fuck. Interesting.
What up, Chad?
4 stars, 1 like.
No, it's very much a propaganda documentary for Nickelback.
Aren't all music documentaries propaganda in
no,
some way?
this one's very egregious. Like, this one's egregious. But it is like, I think they go into a lot of the hate that they got when after All the Right Reasons came out.
Yep.
And
see, I'm not a Nickelback scholar, so like, that's okay. I have a cursory knowledge, but certainly not a scholar. I definitely did hate Nickelback for really no apparent reason.
And so that's the thing. They were kind of like the first initial instance of like online cyberbullying, I guess, on like a grand scale like that for a group.
Yeah.
Because like, obviously, you'd have like TMZ or the tabloids or etc. or what are they called? Photographers that go after them, paparazzi.
The paparazzi.
Like, that would go after them and stuff like that, or go after celebrities. And, you know, the way that you would find out about people shit-talking those celebrities back in the day was always through the tabloids and magazines and stuff like that. But there wasn't any real kind of real-world, like, clashback from it, I guess. It's just, like, news outlets talking shit, really. But when the Nickelback hate started, it was after that record, after, you know, music journalists and stuff like that kind of came through and dragged them through the dirt for being this, that, and the other, this formulaic, non-progressive band. And it was the first time people had, like, social media for the first time. Sorry, first time I had social media. So it kind of just exploded into this whole big thing of, like, as I said, like, one of the first instances of, like, cyberbullying a group on, like, a huge scale. The next one that copped it was, like, One Direction, stuff like that, and Justin Bieber and everything. But Nickelback were kind of one of the first big ones.
Patient zero.
Yeah, they were the patient zero of it. And, like, they interview a lot of those journalists in that documentary, too. And they're like, we weren't expecting people to kind of blow up at them like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of crazy what happened off the back of that and how this long-standing hate of Nickelback started. It was like the internet's like first meme of just like, oh, we're gonna hate Nickelback for the sake of hating Nickelback.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't really know what they did, and I guess the documentary covers that.
They didn't really do anything.
They didn't really do anything.
They just put out music, and suddenly everybody hated them. And it's
they seem like nice fellas.
Yeah, it's crazy coming off of the back of like, How You Remind Me and All the Right Reasons being like so well loved and so well received at that time, to immediately just everyone kind of hating them for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, fascinating.
So anyway, the documentary is really interesting. I really enjoyed it as a Nickelback lover.
4 stars. Not as good as War of the Worlds.
No.
Slightly under.
Nothing will beat War of the Worlds. That was my movie of 2025.
Final one. Mm-hmm. This is one that I had to feature. The Nice Guys.
Yep.
Shane Black film. 4 stars.
Yep.
Your review, absolutely criminal. We're not getting a sequel. The last of the good buddy cop movies.
Yep.
I completely agree.
I echo that statement. Yeah,
It's
and so does a lot of Twitter.
Fantastic movie.
Like if
Probably my favorite Ryan Gosling performance.
Yeah, 100%.
He's so good in that.
Yeah, and like if I feel like if the cards kind of fell right, like we should have gotten like 4 or 5 of those movies by now. I think it really is a shame.
I think it's a casualty of timing because I think like coming out in 2016 is kind of like peak MCU kind of like explosion.
Yep.
Superhero cinema is like fucking off to the races. It's Marvel, it's DC. People just want that shit. This was a more like throwback to
the 80s and 90s.
80s and 90s cinema. Like Shane Black is a big like student of that sort of stuff. And even though it's an incredible film, it looks great, the performances are great, very well written. It just like didn't really have.
It just didn't hit. Like it just didn't hit with the audience.
Yeah, like I just don't think people wanted it.
It's crazy because people want it now. Like we're like almost.
We yearn. We yearn for the Nice Guys.
We're 10 years too late to the cuff now.
Yeah.
That being said, both of them have said that they'd happily come back and do another one. So
do it again.
Do it again, please.
The Nicer Guys.
The Nicer Guys. No, apparently, the original script or the original concept that was going to be planned for the sequel was them going down to Mexico.
Oh, I want it.
Yeah.
I want it so bad.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
It'd be so beautiful.
All souls who struggle with the dismount, the ego in your heads makes your neck creak. I think it's time I shot you off your fucking horse. Don't care for anything. A lost cannon with no legs. I'll be sick when you see me come. Will be the last thing you ever see. Don't care for nothing. What place will you find?
Look, I could do an entire pod just going through your letterbox, to be perfectly honest, but I stopped at 4. I was like, that's enough.
That's enough. Probably a good thing. Yeah. Only one drunk one in there. I think I'm doing pretty well.
We did the intros before. We've hinted at the new record and a bunch of busy stuff for you and Gloom. Before we get into the new record specifics, let's talk about what the last 12 months have been like for you.
Sure.
So you guys have done a bunch of touring, coming off the back or kind of wrapping up the end of the Trinity cycle from 2022. So walk me through the last couple of tours, what the last couple of months have looked like for you and the gang.
12 months. Last 12 months.
So probably like the start of 2025 to now.
Yeah, we had that little Outcast Festival thing just to kick off the year, kind of get back into the groove.
Yep.
Very hot day. And then afterwards, we were pretty radio silent for a minute, but we did do our first US tour.
Yes.
With Angel Maker, Humanity's Last Breath, and Psycho Frame.
That's a psycho tour.
Yes, Psycho tour. We were the soft band on the bill, for sure.
Is that something that you relish, or is that an awkward position to be in? I guess it would depend on the package, right?
Yeah, normally I would relish in that. But I know what US deathcore kids are like.
Mm-hmm.
So we very much catered the set to be a heavier style set.
Sure.
Yeah.
You got a lot of material, so you can kind of move things around to cater to that.
Which is a good thing, to be honest, because we kind of realized that, you know, this being like the first tour in the US, next time we come around, the album's going to be out, everything like that.
Yeah.
We realized that like this was probably going to be the last time that a lot of those US fans who have come out to see us will probably see that stuff that they've listened to for the last like 10 years. Like we had people coming out who had been listening to us since Fear Me in 2016. So
which is crazy.
It's crazy. 9 years ago at that point. So, you know, like that was like I've literally had several people come up to me and be like, I've been listening to you since I was in high school, and they were like 21 now, and I'm like, fuck, I feel old.
Yeah, I sorry to interrupt. I watched the video for the most recent single that you put out literally like this week sometime, and one of the YouTube comments was like, it's cool to see all of these characters that I've been like listening to and watching since I was 15. And I was like,
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah, you're like, whoa, fuck. Actually, one of the interviewers that I had the other day, as I've been doing all the press stuff, Jack, he was like, I've been listening to you since like I was in high school. And I was
Isn't that crazy?
And I'm like, that's wild.
Yeah,
like,
I
feel so old because I started this band like the year I came out of high school.
Yeah,
so I'm like, oh, I had hair, everything was coming up, Mikey, and then suddenly, I decided to start quitting. But that experience was really cool, and it felt good to play like a lot of those songs. We even played a Fear Me song, which we were not really expecting to do. We shifted it in like halfway through the tour.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to do that kind of thing and send off a lot of those songs, as like a final thing, wrapping it up like finally in the US.
Yeah.
And then we moved on to the Make Them Suffer regional run with us, Justice for the Damned, and Make Them Suffer, with rotating openers. That was really cool. That was our first like actual proper regional tour. We've done like a couple of those places before, but like in one big long package.
I was about to say you've done probably like a little like regional Victoria run or like a Sydney run or whatever, or New South Wales run.
Or New South Wales, yeah.
Yeah, but to do like a proper regional national tour is like, it's kind of big dog shit.
Yep.
Because like there's not many bands that can string that together and actually pull it off.
Make it work.
Yeah.
And Make Them Suffer definitely did.
Yeah.
It was actually a really well run tour for sure. So that was a lot of fun. We love all those guys and gal. That was a lot of fun, and then we had a little bit of a break. I'm not sure if I'm technically allowed to say this, but Clinch went over to the States and filled in for Aviana.
Oh shit.
Yep. The reason why I'm saying I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that is because they all wear masks. So we had like a block of time.
Yeah.
We couldn't do anything.
That before the tour that you did with them?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
So you already kind of had that connection.
Yep. But he done tours with them before in his previous band.
Right.
So they already had like that connection.
Yeah. Okay.
Already.
Yeah. Cool.
Which as I said, like kind of worked out well because even though it was strenuous and I had to put together things like really quickly and I had to work within a time frame, it gave us time to do the music videos.
Sure.
The exception of the one that we just put out. And then just like I said, gave me more time to kind of album prep and release and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then went over to Europe with Aviana, Diamond Construct. And oh my god, I'm blanking on the name. I'm really good friends with those guys too. Holy shit.
The other band on the bill?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was
This is where I should have had prep notes. I just had Diamond
Construct. Shit. I had it in my head and I'm like, yeah, no, this will be fun.
I'll edit in like some Benny Hill music over this or something.
Oh my god. A tenor. That's it. Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry, boys. And like it was cool. Like we've toured with DC a whole bunch of times before, like just on like little stuff or like played shows together and whatnot, but we've never really like kind of, I guess, glued together as a group. Like when it comes to Australian tours now, like we're pretty how do I word this? We're pretty independent in the aspect that like we'll run our own van and stuff like that outside of other bands, or like we won't buddy together into a van just because we've had situations in the past where it's fucked us. So we like to stay independent because it also means that like we're responsible for ourselves.
Sure.
So yeah, we've done tours and whatnot together or played shows together, but we've never really kind of like clicked together. So this was like our first actual proper tour together.
Yeah. Was that their first time doing Europe and the UK as well?
Yeah. So with that coming in, like we played like the travel guide, I guess, for them. Told them what to do and what not to do and all that fun stuff and what to look out for and all that shit. Even straight from the get-go, like as soon as we landed in Dusseldorf, I'd message Kynan and be like, if the dude comes up to you offering for like an Uber to take you guys, don't take it. Book an Uber yourselves.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. And he's like, oh, cool, thanks, bro. But like, yeah, so we played travel guide, but it also meant that like we got to hang out quite a bit, and yeah, I got a lot of love and respect for those boys. So yeah, that was a really fun tour as well. I got sick on it. We all got sick. It all went around the bus. We had to swap buses at one point because the air brakes on the bus failed.
Oh, fuck.
On the first bus failed, and we had to swap halfway through. That was fun. That was stressful. But aside from that, no, it was a good tour. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then came back, did that Sydney show, and then now we're getting ready to do this tour with King 810, and that's been our last 12 months. Besides putting out these singles and album.
I mean, that sounds like a pretty kind of packed couple of months.
Yep.
Are you finding that like as Gloom picks up steam and momentum, that being on the road more and more is kind of the normal?
Yes and no. We're pretty, I don't want to say selective with what we take now, but we know that like we've been pushing it the last 24 months pretty hard.
Yeah.
You know, it's also like, as I'm sure most bands will tell you, like it's a big financial venture as well, which we'll get to, but like essentially, long story short, we're going to take like a little bit of a break after this King tour, just so we can kind of reset ourselves a little bit, take some time, do stuff in the interim. Like we're still going to be putting out like a shitload of content. Like there's a plan for that and everything. So it's still doing stuff. But we just kind of want to take like a little bit of time to ourselves. Like Paul, our bassist, is going to have a kid in like July. Like it's just kind of perfect time for it.
Yeah.
Perfect, but non-perfect time because we're putting out an album. But like, you know.
Yeah.
We've got to give ourselves like a little bit of a, let's chill.
Some breathing room. Yeah. Especially after like all of the prep stuff that we talked about before that goes into putting out a record. Like once you have that kind of, you know, months and months and months of tension, and then you have the release, play some shows, get them songs out there, then you can relax for a little bit and settle for a little bit. Speaking of songs, let's just talk about the record.
Okay.
New album, Royal Discordance, coming out at the end of this month, 27th of Feb, SharpTone. Give me the TLDR, 1 minute or less. What is the story that you're telling with Gloom in general? So, give me.
Thank fuck, I have more than 2 hours.
give me the
TLDR.
Give me the elevator pitch for the Gloom cinematic universe.
So, wait, give me a second to think this through, just so I can get it out as quickly and as coherently as possible.
I'm not going to put the stopwatch on, but I want to see if you can do it succinct.
I've had to do it a couple of times over the last couple of weeks.
Pithy
every single version has kind of been dog shit. So, we'll start with the Trinity arc. Trinity follows 3 characters that have died in our lore previously, and it's about the way that they come through hell. Okay. They kind of get guided by this big, ominous kind of narrator kind of dude. Eventually, they make their way back to the realm of the living. Unfortunately, when they do that, they accidentally kickstart an apocalypse, and that's where the end of Trinity kind of kicks in. A couple of other characters from our previous arc come back, and the big guy that's kind of guided them, reveals himself to be like this big, evil, ancient, demonic deity.
Okay.
So Royal Discordance follows, as this big dude comes into power, follows one of the characters from Trinity, and how she forms a resistance faction against him, and kind of follows the trials and tribulations that follow with forming a resistance and fighting back against this army of demons. It's very D&D, very medieval, very chaotic, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the short elevator pitch.
Okay, that's pretty good. I mean, I'm looking.
I've had a lot of practice.
I'm looking at the laptop clock, right? And you ticked over 1 minute. So like, I feel like that's pretty good. I feel like you nailed it.
Thank you.
I will say the record rips. It is definitely to my ears, and I would say I'm not a Gloom head by any expression, but the most kind of like distilled version of what you guys have been doing across previous releases. Like you said, Fear Me came out in 2016, so you've been doing this for 9 years, a decade. You're coming on to your 10th anniversary.
Yep.
What does it feel like to be at this point in your kind of like catalog? You know, like you mentioned there, like previous arcs, full-length records, EPs. Like you've got a lot of material. How does Royal Discordance fit in, both like sonically and thematically? Do you feel?
Well, it's funny because like I feel like over the course of our career, we've definitely changed our sound quite a bit. Like you look at Fear Me and you look at Royal Discordance, and it's not the same band. Like, and I'm happy to say that, to be honest, as well. I think like when I first started the band, I initially always wanted to have that story, long-running, complex thing behind it.
Yeah.
What's interesting between what kind of happened between Fear Me and Trinity is originally what we were meant to go straight into what would have been the story of Trinity right after Fear Me.
Right.
Instead, we wanted to kind of take our time and build up our audience, and that's where Homecoming and Flesh and Bones and Ultima Pluvia came in, which is a good thing because it expanded the story and the universe and everything like that. But with that came a lot of changes, both in the story and musically, how we kind of grew as people and everything like that too. I'll straight up say it, like this band started off as a dark complex sworn in worship band.
I remember we were talking about this off mic, but like I remember when the band like debuted, and I remember the Fear Me project, and I remember listening to it. That sound was very big at the time, and I was like, oh cool, it's like a new metalcore, like, you know, down tune beatdown kind of thing. Cool. And then I probably just like checked out. Sounds a little bit too like harsh, but I definitely just like didn't really dip back in.
That's so fair.
until we started lining this up, and I was like, all right, let me listen to the previous project. And Trinity is like night and day compared to that old material. Like incredibly ambitious, very technically minded, lots of stuff going on, like 1,000 guest vocalists. So like a huge like undertaking. Do you think that coming out of that project into Royal Discordance, you wanted to, I guess, kind of like take some of the lessons from that experience and kind of like fine tune things a little bit, tighten the bolts, etc.? Like, talk to me about that. What was the approach when you guys sat down and you're like, all right, let's do a new record, let's do it this way?
It's kind of funny that you said that, like, you jumped back in with Trinity going, like, with originally going from Fear Me, because I feel like, yes, even though we've changed over time, if you go through the whole catalogue, you can see where it's changed. And it kind of gives everybody a clear picture. This is kind of the first record where we've just thrown everybody into the deep end. So I guess what kind of happened with Trinity, to put it bluntly, was we started touring it, and especially in Europe, with the first time that we went to Europe, and a lot of what was going on in that record doesn't really click well live.
Yeah.
As you said, it's even the guest vocalist thing aside, like there's so much going on in that record. Like, and the reason for that is because we didn't have a producer, with the exception of the vocals, which I've kind of neglected to say over the last couple of weeks. Sorry, Steve. But, you know, like we didn't really have a producer. Basically what happened was we had the songs ready, we sent them to management, we're like, cool, what do you think we should do? And they're like, well, you're in lockdown. These songs are already like as good as they're going to be because it's clear that you've thought everything out. You know, money, time, etc. Lockdown. Like, we're not going to be able to get you to a producer that will do you justice.
Yeah.
So I think you guys should just self-produce, which is what we did. Unfortunately, what that led to is, with me producing, is I put everything into that fucking record.
There's no one there to say no.
There's no one there to say no. So I was kind of like, you said before, evil scientist kind of thing, evil mastermind. That was pretty much what happened with Trinity. I was like, oh, let's just fucking throw this in.
I would imagine, right, that like that would be kind of liberating to kind of like be like deep in the throes of like a big creative project like that, a record that's already shaping up to be quite full and ambitious, and then to have like management and people in your team just be like, yeah, just fucking do what you want, and you're like,
I think it's because they saw the I think it's because they saw the uniqueness of it, and I think at the time, like, there wasn't. I'm not trying to sound not self-righteous, but like I'm not trying to sound, you know, up myself. But like, compared to a lot of what was going around at the time, there wasn't a lot of what we were doing.
No, certainly not.
A lot. There's a good reason for that. But yeah. So I mean, that's kind of the thing too, is that like we kind of got given the green light, and we just went off and did our own thing. Now, that being said, like, yes, I'm the evil mastermind, I guess. It could have been a lot more chaotic. At the time, we had our old guitarist, Matt, who was kind of my bounce off, and he would be the guy that would kind of rein stuff in and be like,
sanity check.
Like, the sanity check.
I don't think you need this, Mikey.
Yes,
we can rein things back in.
We can rein things back in. And he did that, but he also understood where I was at writing-wise, because we'd spent so much time together and bounced off each other so much that we kind of just like cancelled each other out when it came to some of the chaos.
Yeah.
And because he likes really interesting and progressive music, that's also what led to it. So coming into Royal Discordance, touring off the back of what we realised didn't work, because I kind of had the feeling that that was going to be the way that it was going to go anyway, playing a lot of those songs live by that point. I kind of had a serious sit down with Paul and then Jesse and Clinch when they came into the band. Were like, we both know that you love us because of Trinity, and that's also why we've asked you to join the band, because you're both phenomenal musicians. But we are going to be reining in everything sonically, because we kind of have to. Like, even you guys have probably noticed playing these songs live that some parts just aren't translating live.
Yeah.
And Jesse was kind of like the one that got to see it first, because Clinch wasn't able to do that first European tour when they first joined the band. So Jesse was kind of at the forefront seeing everything, and he goes like, oh yeah, no, I can definitely see where parts are clicking and parts are definitely not clicking. So I 100% agree with you. Thankfully, that by that point I had most of the record written already, and it was just like the last couple of songs that needed to push over the line and reworked and retweaked and everything like that. But it was kind of, as of like 2023, I also just didn't want to do the same record twice either. Like, Trinity was a big, bold, hubris-inducing task of an album.
Yeah.
And like I'd spent, 6 or 7 years kind of creating the sonic landscape for that record, chopping and changing everything.
Yeah.
I knew I didn't have that time frame to work within again.
No.
So I also had to figure out a way to kind of bring everything down a level, but also maintain that chaos. And to be honest, at that point as well, I knew that I kind of wanted to go in a more of a My Chemical Romance direction.
I'm glad you said it.
So I kind of took I took inspiration from that. I was like, okay, well, how do they structure their songs? Oh, they still have songs which are a little bit like kind of all over the place too. What can I pull from that to make it work within this kind of setting? Especially in Three Cheers and whatnot, for sure. So that's also, I guess, where like the huge My Chem influence comes from, but that's also just me wanting to move into a more progressive route. If Gloom was going to become more progressive but still keep that chaos, it would still probably end up sounding like My Chem anyway, just because it's just the nature of
It's such an interesting synthesis. Like, we featured Nope, Hollow Point Elysium on one of the roundup episodes earlier this year.
I remember.
And I was doing kind of like my little like reaction to it, and I was like, sounds like My Chem if it had like beat down sections. Like, it's just such a wild kind of synthesis to take very like heavy chaotic metalcore stuff and then like smash it into the theatricality of My Chem. And like, you have incredible range, so like you can pull off a lot of the Gerardisms, kind of like they translate, but you also still sound like a fucking beast. So like, is that something that I guess like on paper you were like, I can make this work? Did you have any trepidation about like, maybe I tried to do this and it sounds like dog shit? Like, or were you just always confident in your ability?
I'm not sure if confidence is the right word. I think I knew that I could do it. I was just kind of like, fuck it, dude. Like, we'll just do it and see if it works. And if it works, it works. And that's where it was great working with John, because he was like, yeah, this works 90% of the time. And I'm like, cool, sweet. All right, let's just roll with it then.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. So you recorded in Nashville in 2024 around June, July, you said? October. Yep. Yeah. With John, I want to say DeLise?
John, that's your new name now. Sorry.
He made me do it. That's right.
Jonathan DeLise.
Okay, DeLise. I'm not familiar with his work. So, like, how did you hook up with him? What was that experience like? Walk me through it.
So for people who don't know, John has done a lot of things. Actually, now that you would probably know, he did Cane Hill's last record.
Okay.
He did 156 Silence's last record.
People
watching.
Ah,
the
great.
one with the scary face on it.
Great fucking record.
Yep.
Incredible record.
He's working with Darko right now.
Okay.
He's also just worked with Chelsea Grin. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that. Actually, no, they posted about working with him. Fuck it, I can say it. Well, he's posted about working with them. Fuck it, I can say it.
Is he someone that you've always wanted to work with, or is it because...
No, he was completely thrown to us. So right. SharpTone made the connection.
Okay.
Sal from SharpTone, he's not there anymore. He's with Sumerian, I think. But at the time, yeah, he threw us a bone and be like, hey, I think you guys should work with John. I think next time, like, you guys need to work with the producer kind of thing. You know, we want to give John a trial. He's been doing a lot of stuff with a lot of artists for us. How'd you feel about that? And I said, yeah, sure. Like, I just had to figure out what's going on with going over to the States. Is it cool that we like send him like a test mix and stuff like that, or work back and forth over Zoom with production? And he's like, yeah, cool. And that was the Jericho Protocol. That was our first time with him.
Right.
And me and him had like a back and forth over Zoom, like doing stuff. And I was like, how do you want us to do this and this? Like, what should we change? And yeah, it worked really well. So I was like, okay, well, I'll go over to the States and record this record with him.
Yeah.
Which, you know, as we just kind of established, like, we haven't really had a producer in a long time.
Yeah.
And with the exception of Steve, who did all the vocals on Trinity.
Shout out Steve.
Shout out Steve. Shout out Coach. So, yeah, it was kind of nervous going, and that's the thing too, is that like me and Steve get along like a house on fire. We kind of had like that father-son relationship. And so when it came to producing the vocals with Trinity, there wasn't like, we never really tore each other's throats out or anything like that.
Yeah.
Which is what I was kind of nervous of, because as I said, after Trinity, I have like a set direct vision of how I want things to go.
Of course. You're in a unique position to have like a lot of creative control. I imagine it would be very difficult to let someone who you're not already familiar with, that you're not already having some kind of working relationship with, a stranger to come in and
essentially a stranger
and start fucking around with all of your little toys that you've set out exactly how you want them. So
and so, but that being said, I was really skeptical, but I also had an open mind, because I knew at the end of the day, like after Trinity, I was like, we need to have somebody come in and like help rein this
that outside perspective is probably good. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and thank fuck, like me and John get along like a house on fire. So, we smashed through those 3 weeks like really quickly.
Yeah.
There's only like 2 things that we didn't get done, and that was due to time constraint. And I guess as well, that's also why I was skeptical, because every time that I've gone into a studio, you know, we've walked away with like, oh, we have to get everything done. And I feel like I haven't walked away with the best products, not because I've been rushed per se, but just as I said, because of the time constraint. Yeah. And I feel like I haven't gotten the best of what I could do.
It's the opposite problem to Trinity.
Yeah, pretty much, which is why we did Trinity like Trinity, because they're like, Mikey, you can have all the time in the world.
Yeah.
What else are you gonna do? So yeah, as I said, like we did lose out on doing like a couple of things when I was with John, but it was nothing that I couldn't do when I was back home.
Yeah.
So as I said, I walked away from that experience with like, this is the best experience that I've had when it comes to working with a producer, not just from the vocal side, but like internally as well, and working through the parts and everything to make sure. Because like, he locked in, he got the vision, he knew what we were about. And he was just, as I said, just there to kind of rein everything in.
When you work with someone like that to not only kind of do the sonic vision, but also like the vocal production, the lyrical stuff, and you're such a concept-driven, lore-heavy band, do you have like a primer, like Bible? Like a little like, you know, like thank you for working with Gloom in the Corner. Please read the 25-page pamphlet before we get into bits and pieces. Like here's everything you need to know. Here's your training manual.
No, I didn't do anything like that. And the pamphlet that you're referring to is our Google document called the Big Ass Doc. We have one for every Big Ass Doc. We have one for every record. Starting from Trinity, like there's 3 now because I've started working on the next one, and No, I didn't put John through that. I very much, and this is the kind of thing with Royal that I wanted to do as well, was that with the sonic shift and going down that very more structured path, we knew that it was going to be, I knew lyrically a lot of these things were going to be based very much more around the emotion of what each character is going through for each song.
Right.
And so that kind of took a little bit of like pressure off to kind of like tell the story per se.
Yeah.
As direct as what it was compared to Trinity, with the exception of a couple of songs. But that's also what made it easy working with John, was that, like, yes, he worked with us with Jericho, he's listened to Trinity, he's listened to Flesh and Bones, or gone back and done his research effectively and knows what we're about. But he also knew that, like, me coming in was like, you saw what we did with Trinity, we need to, as I said, rein it the fuck in. So, you know, if you need to tell me that, like, hey, this part's bad or this part doesn't make sense, like, lyrically and stuff like that, like, you know, you're allowed to tell me. And he would ask me, like, oh, what's happening in this song with this character kind of thing.
Right.
I'd be like, this and this and this. And I'd, like, give him the footnotes, the spark notes kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, oh, yep, cool. Like, okay, well, maybe we should change this word for this word and this and that and the other.
Yeah.
I think the number one word that we had to change the most was body bag, because I realized I had it in, like, 4 or 5 songs.
Got to do a find replace.
Got to do a find and replace. I think we did like Assassination run near the start, and we obviously have like that whole big section. And I got to like another song and it had body bag, and he's like, okay, I'll let that one slip. Then I got to like another 2 or 3 songs. He's like, Mikey, find a new fucking sentence. Find a new word. And I'm like, all right, yeah, no, you're right. I didn't think of that.
It's funny you mentioned like kind of like stepping on your own toes a little bit, like lyrically. I was reading a Pitchfork review for the new Converge record that came out. It's our like feature album on the show. Great record.
Yeah, great.
But for a band that's like 36 years deep into their catalog, and
12 albums.
And then they take like fucking, you know, however long between records. They've got a bunch of albums. In the Pitchfork review, he kind of mentions how in the studio sessions for the new record, they were going through like the fucking Google Doc files of like just like the riffs and stuff that are stored everywhere. And they found something that they liked, turned it into a song, and then realized that they had already used that riff. And they'd already gone through the same process. So they had turned that same idea into a completely different song that they had recorded and released already.
Yep,
and
I've done that before.
And they're like, fuck.
Fuck.
We've done that same thing again. So, like, that's crazy to me that you can have so much output that it's impossible to contain it all at once.
But I have an excuse for it, because we're a concept-based band. We just call them motifs. So
of
we
course.
just be like, oh, that's just a throwback to the last record in this line and stuff like that. So
that's for the gloom heads, the real ones. They get it.
There's very, very few and far between on this record. Just
talking about the story, I kind of want to get into a little bit of like the narrative and the world building stuff, because I think to me, it's very interesting to have a band as heavy as Gloom still be so theatrically driven and concept driven. It is kind of unique, I think, for this particular kind of heavy space, because there are plenty of prog bands, plenty of concept records, but in that kind of metalcore space, it's not really something you see too often. So when you approach the narrative that you've been putting together across a number of releases, what are you doing to get into that kind of like ethereal headspace?
Well, it's not necessarily like the landscape or anything. It's really about the characters, and I think that's what kind of helped quite a bit with like this record for sure. And it definitely helped with Trinity. Like, we were just talking about the big ass doc.
I love that title. I need to see the big ass doc.
The big ass doc, and like the front page, because I set it all out properly now that Google Docs has its thing. Everything's in Comic Sans.
Oh, beautiful! Love that.
It's beautiful. But yeah, it's more about getting into the character's headspace. So I guess like the way that I would approach writing a record, or at least the arc, is I find the start and the end point first. For Royal, that was really easy because I had the end planned out for quite a while. And I knew that I was immediately coming off the back end of Trinity.
Yeah. With a big kind of like narrative cliffhanger,
Yep.
big reveal type moment, right? So like,
Yep.
you already have like a big kind of narrative turn that opens up a whole bunch of possibilities.
Yep.
And if you know where you want to be at the very end, you can start to kind of like thread your way back.
Thread your way through.
Yeah.
Where it gets difficult is like, you know, piecing together the in-between bits. I like to say that like each album has its own distinct character, and it definitely does. Like this one is definitely based primarily around the character of Clara, and I do that based off of the percentage of how many songs that character has.
Right.
With it making sense within the story. And so it's kind of, the difficult part is finding out, like, for me, I knew going into this record that that would be her record. How do I make this story work without it being just from her perspective? Because if it's just from her perspective, then it starts to get a little bit boring. And if it's too much...
I would just interject and say I don't think anyone has ever listened to Gloom and been like, this is boring.
But that's what I'm getting to, is that because there's like another 2 or 3 characters that we can kind of jump between to kind of fill out that space. It's trying to find that perfect balance to make sure, especially with this one, was making sure that she does have at least a percentage majority of the songs on this record, which she does. She has 6 songs. 6 songs. Which is out of 12, so 50%. When you look at like the other 4 characters which are across this record, you know, I think I've hit the mark pretty well.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, as I said, less about getting into the landscape, more about getting into the headspace for each character. And that was what was great with Trinity, was I already kind of had like a preset thing for a lot of these characters. Sure, they've, as like a TV show, they go through character arcs and they go through changes and everything like that. But I already kind of know how to write with these characters. And especially like a couple of them, like I've been writing from their perspective for the last like 10 years. It's really easy. So yeah, like it's about putting on many different hats and how I'm kind of feeling on that day. It's like, okay, well, if this song's going to be a little bit more morose, and I'll put it to this character. If it's going to feel a little bit more upbeat and happy, or about this and this and this, I'll write about this character. Like, it's just, and within that, I kind of come up with a collection of songs and go, this is what works, this is what doesn't. Let's talk about this for this, yada, yada, yada.
Do you find, because I think that is like a very kind of distinct thing, because a lot of bands in various genres, but I would say like by and large, most of like the metalcore genre is very like personally driven. It's very like, this happened to me, I am happy, I am sad, hate this person, you're fucking dead to me, whatever. Like very introspective, very selfish, projected outwards. Whereas what you're doing is like putting on the hat, going into someone else's like perspective and frame of mind. Do you find that your life, Mikey, bleeds into these other characters based on like the shit that happens in your life?
Well, that's what I was about to
Or are you compartmentalizing them and having them completely separate?
No, no, I'm not. No, I mean, yeah, you pretty much hit the nail on the head, and that was kind of like what started with Fear Me as well, and the character that record is based around. Like, that was very much like a self-reflection of like stuff that I was going through at the time, mixed in with like a revenge tale, but putting like certain emotions about situations and stuff like that into that and making it work, like the heartbreak that follows and yada yada yada. And so yeah, like I mean, Gloom very much did start off like, yes, it was a concept-driven based thing, but did start off with that kind of vanity side of things, which you do see in metalcore, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
No shade to that at all.
Oh no,
it just seems to be.
But it's the same thing across all music genres.
It's very easy, right? Like, the aphorism is like, write what you know, and that's what a lot of people do. Like, you write what you know, but you're going like 5 levels up into what you know in like a D&D sense of like, here's the entire universe that I've created. Let me walk you through it.
But I think that's also like where our sound kind of differentiates from others, is that like I don't treat it as a metalcore record per se. Like, I treat it as like a score for a movie or a TV series.
Okay.
And so, you know, these characters, like, not every single song is going to be the same thing over and over and over and over again.
No.
there's going to be an arc that follows, and it's like, if I have a really, really heavy song for what should be a really light moment or something like that, it doesn't work.
No.
Like, you don't watch The Notebook and there's like a breakdown in the last. Well, maybe between Rachel McAdams and Ryan Gosling.
It's a bit discordant.
Yeah, you could say it's a bit discordant. Yeah. Maybe like Being as an Ocean can play over the top of it. Or
That's
like
true.
American football or something. But like,
I mean, like we could do that. We could find something. We could find something alternative to put over The Notebook.
That'd be bad shit.
It could just be like American football.
Yeah, American football. Yeah. But so I mean, that's where kind of like, with Fear Me and with a lot of it being like based around such, like many of those revenge tales, like Max Payne.
Yeah.
You could even say John Wick, but like The Punisher was like a big one back in the day. It made sense for the movie, for the album.
There it is.
For the album, there we go.
The Freudian slip.
The Freudian slip.
You've all been waiting for.
Actually, no, that's a good reference too. Villain, the album Freudian Slip by Villains is also a big influence on that record, which is why it sounds like down tempo. But like it made sense for that album to be like primarily pretty heavy because there's a lot of like violent shit that happens throughout that record. It's like playing a grindhouse video game or something like that. So it made sense that everything was heavy. But as we progressed and the story expanded and we went through, all these different kind of emotions and arcs, we realized that we can't just constantly be writing, or I can't constantly be writing like the same kind of heavy stuff like over and over and over again. Like we need to have,
like you said, you don't want to write the same shit twice.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
And if I do, it's because it's a motif, and I'm purposely calling it.
And I did it intentionally.
And I did it intentionally, guys. Don't worry, I promise.
Like the one you gave so savagely. I've fallen so far from heaven. We were meant to end with harmony. Oh, why we
Speaking of guys, euphemistically, I have seen reference to the fandom that exists around Gloom because by creating this kind of like very narrative driven world that's told through the music, through the live show, through the music videos, you are creating a multimedia ecosystem that is rife for people to embrace their parasociality and to get really invested in these characters and what's happening and theorize and all that sort of shit that people love doing on the internet. So talk to me about that. Is it strange to have fans that aren't just like the ones that rock up to the show and kind of like rock out and leave, but the ones that sit there and analyze every lyric and talk about these characters that
I wouldn't say it's weird.
Okay.
I'm actually very grateful for it more than anything else because, as I said, like I kind of just started this project as knock off Sworn In and Villains. Villains, if you're listening, come back, please.
Bring them back.
Bring them back. Yeah, no, like I'm very grateful for it, to be honest, because like, as you said, like we're a multimedia kind of facet thing, but like we wouldn't get the fandom of like, like a huge Netflix TV series or anything like that, and like a book series or etc. Like, so the fact that like someone has gotten into our music and then realized, hey, there's actually something deeper here, and there is this whole world to explore, and they really sink their teeth into it and really get into it. I'm thankful for, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like it's really cool, and as I said, we have the Discord. Hi. And I'm thankful for every one of them, as batshit as some of them are. And
are you the mod in the Discord?
I am one of the mods.
Did you have like a little mod team kind of keeping things on track in there?
Yeah. Shout out Finn and Arwen, who do everything. They don't have to do too much now. There's been a couple of times where we've had to bring down the band hammer.
Okay.
One which I can talk about. So,
well, what are they cooking up in the Gloom Discord?
Well, funny you should use the word cooking. I woke up to a series of messages one day because a lot of them are like based around the world and everything. That's the beauty of Discord.
Yeah.
I woke up one day and both with messages from the admin team and from seeing what had gone down it was either general or image links. I can't remember which one it was. Someone had posted the legitimate ingredients to napalm.
Incredible.
Which, if you're not aware, can very much get you put on a watch list.
Yeah,
like...
this will date me here, and I mean, like, my beard's fucking half grey, so whatever. I remember downloading the Anarchist Cookbook.
I knew you were gonna say that.
And I grew up on a cattle farm with very minimal supervision.
So you got through the whole thing.
I got through the whole thing. I remember I made napalm, ingredients will not be named, but I made it in a Pringles container and then created like a shitty like whisk out of a couple of coat hangers, and I was using that to like pull it out of the container and like throw it on stuff and then light it on fire. And I remember my dad, who was like a fucking cattle farmer, but also a pyromaniac. Dude loved to set shit on fire.
Okay.
He like came in, and the responsible thing to do would have been like, what the fuck are you doing? Don't make napalm. You're a teenager. This is bad. And
see?
And he came in and he was like, my dad's from Kansas, so I'll do the accent. He was like, what are you doing, bud? And I was like, I don't know what to say. I made napalm. And he's like, does it light? And then we were down there just like making napalm together, lighting it together. It was a very good father-son bonding moment.
That's very nice. Don't do that.
Yeah, bad.
Bad.
Don't do that. But
We
yeah,
do not do-
Anarchist Cookbook was fucking wild.
Yeah.
Some of the
I
shit that
remember
was in
having the
there.
Anarchist Cookbook.
Like,
No, I didn't.
Like how to make nail bombs.
Yeah, it's crazy.
How to
commit credit card fraud.
Yeah.
I wish I kept that stuff.
Psycho shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously you can't have that running amok in the Gloom Discord.
That was a fun day. Waking up and just being like,
What do we do?
the fuck? I messaged Finn and I was like, wait, do they actually put the ingredients to napalm in the chat? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, that's
Cool.
fucking awesome. Don't let it happen again. At least while I'm asleep. Like, come on.
I mean, I just think it's very spiritually inclined to the spirit of the new record. We're talking about like a resistance faction striking back against like, you know, ontological evil. You know, your fans are taking the power into their own hands. They're
quite literally.
They're organizing. They're getting armed.
Oh, what's even better is the one that did it came up to me in the UK with a jar because he did it in a jar and he got me to sign it. I totally forgot about that.
Fuck.
And
That's
he's like,
crazy.
can you sign the napalm jar? And I'm like, you motherfucker.
Wait, did it have napalm in it?
No.
Okay. I
I
was like,
checked. I'm like,
that's baller if he brought a jar of napalm to the rock
do
show.
not.
That's hectic.
I know you'll watch this. Don't.
But on a serious note, I think like creating an artistic kind of project that can engender that kind of fandom in people is
very cool.
Kind of special.
It is,
And
and
have
I'm really
people-
thankful for it.
Yeah, and shout out to the Discord. If you're
out to
watching
the
this,
They
word.
will be watching this. Some of them will be. I know. they
Word.
will be, yeah.
Let's wrap up the main show here. We've kind of been chopping it up for like an hour. Post-album release comes out on February 27th. Royal Discordance, SharpTone Records.
SharpTone Records.
After the album drops, you've got the March tour with King. Excited about that?
Yes, very. Yeah, it's cool how that tour came about. Paul did stage tech work for King and Paleface when they came down with In Heart's Wake.
Okay.
So, yeah, him and David just became friends. And essentially what happened was they... it pretty much became like, oh, we should do a tour together. Yeah, let's do a tour together. And this is one of the few times it's actually followed through. Because they've just been constantly communicating and everything. And that's pretty much how this tour happened.
I'm not a huge King head, but...
They're also a big influence for us too.
Yeah, I would say like when I saw the tour announcement and I saw it was like King, you guys, and Dreg, I was like, that works.
It is like the perfect weirdo fuckhead lineup.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Like in my head, I was like,
I don't mean that in a derogatory
I was
way.
like,
It's the best.
I was like, they're all kind of fucked up, and that kind of works. Like the heads that will come out to that particular tour package, mate, you're going to get all sorts.
I'm spraying deodorant. No offense.
But I mean, like, a lot of the King stuff is very narratively driven in a very, like...
in a different way.
A completely different way. But also the way that you could get very invested in to try and, like, read and listen and witness someone's, like, trials and tribulations.
Oh, yeah.
Over, like... the most like aggressive macho kind of like jump the fuck up music.
Definitely like for their earlier stuff, I think after like the last like couple of releases that they've put out, they've been David's been like a lot more artistic with what they do and everything. And I think that's just like him changing as a human.
Because that project's been going for like 15 years now.
Yeah, long time. Yeah. But honestly, like the one for me that like influenced Gloom the most, and you can definitely hear it on Trinity, was La Petite Mort. And so yeah, like to be able to finally like kind of tour with them, it feels like a very like full circle kind of bucket list moment, at least for me in particular. I've been listening to that band for a long time.
Yeah, that's
and I've always very appreciated what they've done. On a little side note to that, I actually did meet David when we were over in the States.
Was he in Nashville or did he come through?
No, so
this is on the tour.
This is on the tour.
Sorry.
We had a show in Los Angeles which linked up with another tour package and kind of became like this big festival because we realized, or the booking agents realized, that there's no point in running
two shows
on the same separate day, especially in Los Angeles. The Los Angeles market.
I kind of love it when that happens.
Yeah.
And there isn't like shitty promoter beef where they'll do it out of spite.
And then it happened again in Buffalo, but we did have 2 separate shows for that. There was like 4 different shows on that night in Buffalo. It was crazy. It was like our show with Angel Maker, the Left to Suffer King 810 show, Gate Creeper were playing that night. Somebody else was playing that night. There was like 4 fucking tours in Buffalo in the one night.
That's
and I'm
crazy.
Like, what the fuck is going on?
That's like here in like late January.
Yeah.
There was like fucking 20 different metalcore shows on like one night.
In one night, yeah, it's batshit. I'm not going to go around to them. Anyway, so yeah, in LA we decided to merge this tour package together. It was Upon a Burning Body, Left to Suffer, Angel Maker, Humanity's Last Breath, Psycho Frame, King 810, us, Half Me, and I can't remember the rest. Still,
that's a crazy lineup.
Huge package. Even for having like Upon a Burning Body on the package as well. Also a big influence for Gloom.
Yeah.
Was crazy. So yeah, very cool. But I got to meet David and stuff like that, and I came up to him. I said, "Hey, David, like I'm Mikey. I'm from Gloom. You met Paul, obviously, and everything like that. He just wants to send his regards, and he's sorry he couldn't be here. He's like, oh damn, that sucks. Where's Paul? He had to stay home and work. He's like, that fucking sucks. I'm just like, the way that you expect him to speak is exactly the way that he sounds in the coolest way possible.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, no, it should be a good fun tour. I'm excited for that one. As you said, it's kind of like the Outliers tour in like a good sense.
Yeah, in a good sense. Like it makes a lot of sense when you see it on paper. I was just like, yeah, I could see the like Venn diagram of like you've got all those bands, and in the middle is just like the weirdest cunt you've ever met is like right in the middle, just like listening to all three.
All three.
You mentioned before at the top of the show that you're going to take a little bit of time after that tour, after the record drops. You guys have got some personal stuff to kind of take care of. At the end of the year, though, you're going to be on a boat. Hellbound cruise.
This is where we insert the Lonely Island music video. Yes, we do.
Spent so many years DJing in fucking Dow clubs where like it was the early 2010s. The Lonely Island was a thing. I played that song so many fucking times.
Okay, we don't need to put it in.
It has,
that's fine.
Oh no, I'll put it in for the people. But like, I get no joy from I'm on a boat anymore. That sucks. It sucked all the life out of me.
What about I jizz in my pants?
I have a soft spot for that, mainly because of JT and how much he really kind of commits to the bit.
I threw it on the ground. That's another great one.
I mean, they have great songs. No shade to the Lonely Island. I just played that song a lot of fucking times.
But the I'm on a boat, that would be tiresome.
But you will be on a boat. You're going to be playing a cruise. Now, I feel like this is almost a rite of passage for heavy bands in the scene now because where there was once like maybe one kind of novelty cruise, now there seems to be like fucking 20 of them. And every band I see is like, we're going to do this cruise. We're going to do this States, cruise. Hey. Really kind of leaning into it. So cool that one's happening down here. When you got the offer to play on ostensibly a cruise, were you like, yeah, let's do this?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we were like, it's definitely like a very cool idea. And a very cool concept. We'd obviously seen like the ones that have been happening in the States for quite a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was a while ago now, to be honest. Like, we got confirmed for it, like, how long has it been announced for? Since like,
it was like the midway through last year.
Yeah, like midway through last year, and it's not happening till October 2026. Yeah. So.
And they've already announced the
next one.
The next one. So.
So to be honest, like, my memory of that time frame of what I was feeling was a little bit hazy.
Yeah.
But in regards to coming up to it, yeah, no, for sure, I'm excited. Like, we've actually been fortunate enough to do like at least like a kind of couple of boat shows before.
Interesting. Okay.
We technically played on a docked boat in Paris.
Okay.
On the Seine. That was really cool.
I'm going to try and find YouTube footage of that. Go on.
I actually don't think there is. I'm very surprised. What I can tell you is that boat rocked. And even fucking docked. So, like, we'd be halfway through a song, I'd go to do something, and the boat would just shift. We had a dude crowd surf, and when I went to grab him, the boat shifted again, and his knee went straight into my forehead.
Incredible.
So they're a lot of fun. If it's going to be anything like that, it's a lot of fun. And then we did another one 2024 right before I went to the States. That was like kind of like, you know, this small cruiser kind of party boats that just go around the Yarra in the bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played one of them.
Incredible.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we had noise restrictions and security tried cutting us off and all that fun stuff because other bands ran over time. It wasn't their fault. Like, it was just situation of the day.
Okay.
And they also told us that we could finish at this time, and then they came up to the sound guy halfway through saying, like, we have to cut sound now. It's hard lock off restriction. We're like, this isn't what we got told.
No.
So that was a lot of fun. It's not putting a bad vibe or anything on it, but no, we're excited to do this one. It
feel
looks like a lot of fun.
This is kind of more like upscale from that, because like if the cruise ship is rocking, there are many problems happening with the entire ship.
Well, I mean, just expect. I mean, to be fair, like, I saw a TikTok the other day, which, you know, said like 5 things a band should expect when doing a cruise ship show, or etc.
Incredible algorithm you have there.
Yeah, well, actually, no. Kai, our sound guy, sent it to us, and he went. And like it was pretty much like they tried to downplay it as like bad as they can. But what they did say was that, like, yeah, the boat will rock if you got a bit of a shitty day.
Yeah.
But you know, that's fine. Honestly, like, there's only one thing I'm concerned about, and that's Clinchy Boy, and that's because he gets motion sickness.
Right.
He gets seasick.
Can't he just take like the little like tablet thing that kind of just?
He's gonna have like the whole fucking packet on the first day.
He'll be chewing them like fucking like.
This is the same.
Nicorette.
This is the same. Yeah, this is the same dude that I've seen throw up in the back of an Uber after 4 beers. So, sorry, Clinch.
Sensitive little Clinch.
Yeah, no, it's not his fault. I think it's something in beer just upsets his stomach. So if he's mixing that with beer,
we'll see.
That being said, he was fine on the boat show that we did. So. He's my only concern, but from a parental concern point of view, not from a oh shit, this is going to be a bad time.
I think it's going to be sick. I can't wait to see footage of that entire tour and your set.
Mm-hmm.
I will have links in the show description for people to check out Gloom, the record, the merch, the various bits and pieces that you have for the larger Gloom cinematic universe. But we might wrap up the main show there.
Sure.
Mikey, thanks for coming on the show.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Hello, Owen popping in to say, please sign up for the TPD Patreon. This is what helps us keep the lights on and keep the show going. The link is at the bottom of your screen right now, patreon.com/TPDpod. All of our patrons get exclusive access to Side B of our Roundup episodes, so you get a few extra tracks, as well as our feature album discussion and the full show experience. Our patrons also get exclusive access to behind-the-scenes, off-the-cuff chit-chat from all of our guest episodes. But the patrons are the ones who make all of this happen. For as little as $5 a month, you can sign up to the TPD Patreon, and it really helps us out, really helps us keep the show going. So shout out to all of our patrons, shout out to our executive producer patrons, you're the real ones, and yeah, thank you so much for watching the show.